And my colleague Luke Russert spoke to North Dakota Democratic Senator Heidi Heitkamp, member of the Committee on Indian Affairs, and asked her about the biggest issues facing the Native American population in her state.
I think it's economic development and unemployment. Both are factors which lead to extreme poverty, which leads to a lot of other issues. There also is a unique situation in terms of jurisdictional challenges that make it difficult many times to receive capital, to kind of convince folks to make investments on the reservation. And honestly, the other thing I see is that we signed treaty rights with the tribes and haven't always been forthcoming with our obligations under those treaties. And so these are problems that won't be fixed in a generation, but if we don't tackle them today, they certainly won't be fixed in 2 generations.
You bring up the jurisdictional issue, which is one I find fascinating. Do you think that this extreme poverty and the lack of economic development, does that come from the autonomy that's been given Native Americans, or does that come from government being kind of apathetic to their concerns and to the problems that they face?
I think it comes from years of systematically having a policy in America where we are into disestablishment of the reservations, then we reestablish the reservations, and as a result, self-governance becomes an incredible challenge, and individuals kind of don't know their place. And one of the measures that we think is absolutely significant to building back the culture and building back the opportunity is the Native American Language Bill, which is critical to many of the tribes to preserve their language, because that's the beginning of preserving their culture. And so we're going to work really hard on all of these things, but the thing that I look at the most is how do we create a condition that is human for people to live. We've got housing on reservations where black mold is all the way up the wall. No house in North Dakota except on the reservation. You wouldn't be allowed to live there, but on the reservation you are. And so the reason why, and it's not that people are cruel, it's just that there's no other housing. And so we've got to fix the education, we've got to fix the housing, we've got to make sure that we've got the right kind of public safety, but at the same time, we've got to encourage the entrepreneurship that I know that's there. We've got to provide the support for economic development and for employment, which I think in the long run is the solution.
One interesting thing that's happened in your state is there's been a tremendous economic boom due to the natural gas and oil that's been found. Some of that has been located on Native American lands. Are you confident that situations that have arisen from Native Americans feeling there could be encroachment on their lands due to that energy boom, can those be figured out? And could you see a day where some of these impoverished Native American tribes actually profit heavily from the energy found on their lands?
Well, I think you're already seeing that at the Mandan, Hidatsa, and Arikara, which really is almost in the bowl of the Bakken. It's some of the richest places to extract the oil. And so they're trying to balance the impact on society, like we are all over North Dakota, trying to balance the impact on the environment, balance the impact on society, and then invest the resources that both the tribe and the individual members are receiving to help continue to grow economic development. And so it's not our only tribe in North Dakota. We've got the Turtle Mountain Chippewa, Ojibwe are just to the east of the Bakken. They're hoping that they won't have to travel so far, that they can look at some spin-off industries. So I see what's happening in the oil patch as a real opportunity for employment throughout North Dakota. You're seeing it in the eastern side, where we're doing oil field service work, building tanks that we couldn't find employment to do in the west. And so I think there's some real opportunity. We just need to figure out how we're going to get investment there so that they can develop those opportunities and meet the challenges of the people that they serve.